What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today, Gunner's back. What's up, Gunner?
What's cracking?
Chilling. We're going to go ahead. I don't even know if Gunner's ever watched any of my Jaime Morgan Kane reactions, but today we're going to react to one of my reactions. Yes, I know people are like, this is a trip, but more than anything, people are like, this shit is gold. I shouldn't have cussed. I'm going to try to take that out. But this guy right here, I don't know if you're ready, Gunner. Have you seen any of my Jaime Morgan Kane videos?
I have not, but he looks like he's one of the members of the Bald Brotherhood.
Homie, I don't. You let me know by the end of this what you think he's a member of. Let's get to it because it's kind of a long one. Truckers, this one's for you.
Cracking, everybody. New video. So shout out to Daniel K, one of my long-time subscribers on my big channel.
Daniel K.
Today in the comment sections, right now it's actually midnight. I just finished the live, still kind of wide awake, and I figured, you know what, let me go ahead and knock out this video. So this video was recommended by Daniel K. Okay, this is what's his name? Stuart Atwood, I think is his name. And
is his name Stuart Atwood?
Response to my videos about
I thought it was something else. Atwood. Sean. It's Sean. Sean. Let's make sure Sean gets all. Yeah, Sean Atwood.
Shout out to Sean Atwood, aka Stuart Atwood.
Yeah. Fuck, already.
Reaction videos to Wes Watson. Daniel said I should really check this guy out. Now I'm gonna tell you guys that I've already seen a little bit. I'm not gonna start at the beginning. This dude right here. The title of this video is 34 Years in Prison. Part 1, Jaime Morgan Kane. True crime podcast. So I've already heard a little bit of.
Hurry up and get to it already, Dubs. You slow motherfucker.
I'm gonna start.
Are you buzzing or are you sober right now?
No, it's midnight.
A lot of wind.
Oh, so that's midnight, Dubs.
That's midnight, Dubs.
Apparently he didn't have a shirt, so he's in a slingshot at an interview.
Me of all people, guys, always wearing slingshots.
I want you to know right now, this guy said he was, I guess, got busted in '83 and went to prison in 1984. That's important. If I get to whatever he starts talking about, he went to prison in 1984. Okay, he's gonna be talking about organizations
10 years before me
that I will never talk about. But let's just see what this killer has to say.
Here we go.
And I'm 30 years old. I owned a motorcycle restoration shop. I was road captain for a motorcycle club.
Yeah.
And I'm a Vietnam veteran Marine. Yeah. So I get to the prison, and at that time when I went to prison, there was only 2 maximum security prisons, only 2 prisons as they called it. Folsom and San Quentin.
Yes.
And then they had 9 men's institutions. Those are all medium and lower.
Okay.
And they were like California Technical Facility or California Training Facility or California Men's Colony or California Medical Facility. And there were things like that.
I saw the Johnny Cash videos.
Right. And there was only 36,000 people in prison when I first went in.
36,000, yeah.
But I'm going to go to one of the big houses because I'm coming in with a murderer. And also,
what year is this now when you go to the big house?
1983.
83.
Well, I actually go in 84. I get arrested in 83. I actually get sent to prison on February 27th, 1984.
Yeah.
So I get sent to Vacaville because Vacaville is the California Medical Facility, and it's reception for everything Northern California.
Yeah.
California Institution for Men, or what's called Chino, is Southern California reception.
Okay.
So I get up there. I get put in a cell. It's not much bigger than 2.5 loos put together, basically.
So he, by the way, this dude Gun, I think, okay, I think this is the first one. He's gonna tell this whole story where he's actually from the Isle of Man. Of course, he's a manly man. So he's from the Isle of Man. He was brought here. He was stolen as a child and brought here. Even though he was raised, from the Isle of Man. Hey, even though he was raised here his whole entire life, he used the term loo right now instead of bathroom. So he's one of those guys.
Oh, so basically the movie, the book Jungle Book. Jungle Book is,
Yeah.
he's the real Jungle Book guy. He's the real
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Look.
He's raised
I
by
know
wolves.
this isn't like anything major, but why are these guys sitting so close and having a crotch off? Are they having a crotch off? I feel like they are. I've never
ready
even
to
seen a
cock off.
crotch off before, but they're aiming them at each
That's what a cock off is?
That's what a cock off is. That's what Hawk was doing. Remember, he was cocking off?
Homie. Hey, he's aiming it at Sean / Scott.
know, and
Or
if you
Stewart.
look- And if you look Stuart Atwood, right? Stewie Atwood, he slightly looks down from time to time. Just watch his eyes.
Hey, and then watch the other Vato, Jamie. He flicks his tongue out at him every now. It's this shit. Hey, Holmes, this shit.
Why does he
Huh?
keep looking down at his pipa and then looking up at Sean? And they keep
Yeah, because it's subliminal. He's forcing him to look at what he's looking at.
You learned that on the Isle of Man or what?
Watch. Hey, this shit is spectacular.
They're aiming them at each other.
Holding cell right
No,
now.
it's a regular.
This
cell.
is your
Yeah,
cell
it's got
now.
two.
Okay.
It's got bunk beds and a toilet,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Mhm.
Window. And one of the things guys in county jail tell me was you never ask guys how much time you're doing,
Yeah.
that kind of things. And don't. And they tell you don't do drugs in prison, don't join the gangs in prison, don't gamble in prison,
Yeah.
don't mess with the homosexuals in prison.
Yeah.
Those all bring you
Don't
trouble.
go to prison.
Yeah.
Well, since none
Yeah.
of those were my problems on the street, the only issue I ever had as far as a vice was my motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of motorcycles on the yard in prison. So it's probably gonna have a lot of profit.
So that was my go-to thing. So I get in there. Well, they tell me it's going to take up to 90 days to process you through.
Mhm.
But I come in, I'm going through it, and it was really funny because prison reception wasn't too much different than military reception.
Yeah.
You go in, you get naked, they give you clothes, you go to the place where they tell you to go. But I'm 3 days into my prison sentence in reception, waiting for orientation, whatever's going to come along. And right after breakfast,
Wait. What's going on? What's happened?
I can just tell he's building up to something right now.
Oh, homie, you're not ready for what he's building. He's building a city right now. It's not one thing. What?
that morning, which they had breakfast 5:30, and it was like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
The door slides open because he had pneumatic door type things.
Mhm.
Look at the way he has that shit aimed at that Vato, eh?
Yeah,
And there's the captain.
He's
of
a
the
he's a
institution
sharpshooter.
and the chief medical officer. And they go,
he's a shark.
"You were a corpsman, weren't you?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "We need your skills. We need you to come work for us as a surgical tech."
Wow.
Keep in mind, he started by saying he's a Marine. Now he's a corpsman. Those are two different services, two different branches. That's Navy, and now he's mixing them in the Marines. They get attached to the Marines, but
how they know exactly what he was? Like, this guy just
they knew because he's this homie. There's a theme. Penguin Man was the specialist. This Vato's the other specialist.
Oh, this is the real eagle.
Yeah, this is the eagle. He has landed.
Oh,
Okay.
Right away.
Right away, 3 days into prison on a fresh murder charge. They want me working as a surgical tech.
Yeah.
Of
They
course.
tell me out and they tell me, here's the deal. You're still orientation,
Mhm.
but we're going to move you to the main line. You're going to be wearing blues instead of greens.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
You're gonna
course.
be like a mainline inmate. You're limited main.
Of course. They haven't done any of his classification.
Nothing.
They don't know if he's got any enemies there in Vacaville. They don't know nothing about him, but they need him to do surgery because there's nobody else that can.
Yeah, there's no one. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, he's the man.
That's already.
They're gonna bypass
Mainline
all
now,
security.
all privileges,
Yeah.
but you still have to do your orientation stuff.
Yeah.
But you're going to work in the hospital.
I don't know anything about that, but he said he was in Vacaville. I heard back in the days they would have stuff like that. So I can't say anything about that. But his stories, I haven't. This part it was new to me, except for when he went to prison. This is about as far as I got earlier. Skipping around.
Hospital and G2 surgery and G1 ward. I said, not a problem. So I go over there. That afternoon,
Mhm.
about 4 hours after they'd seen me, I've got
4 hours.
some guy's guts while we're taking tumors out of a guy's stomach doing a laparotomy. I'm working as a surgical nurse or surgical technician for the doctor
Yeah.
on an inmate.
Wow.
But his
Stop
hand is in the guy's guts. His
Stop
hand
it.
is in the guy's guts.
Hasn't been
They don't
classified.
send-
Doing surgery.
Hey, they don't send the inmate to the outside hospital, right? They just do it right there in the chow hall, wherever there's room.
The very next morning,
In
they
the
gave me
break
a
room?
client list. They tell me, okay, you know about phlebotomy, right? And I said, certainly. Drawing blood. And I go, here's your client list. Okay, I got a client list. So it's got guys' names and stuff.
Yeah.
So I got sitting there and I got all tubes and I got the needles and I'm sitting there and waiting. And walks this correctional sergeant and he rolls my sleeve and goes, okay, let's get this over with. And I'm looking at him and go, yeah, sure. Because I figure he's clowning me, you know? And he's like, no, that's my name right there. Number 1 on the list. I need to have this done. I got to have my physical done.
Right.
So then I realized I'm taking blood out of correctional officers to turn around and give to an inmate lab tech to run for their physicals. Because at that time, inmates ran the prison.
Yeah.
We were surgical techs, x-ray techs, lab techs,
Wardens,
certified nursing assistants. We ran trust. We ran the meal room. We ran records. We ran the kitchen.
Wow.
Listen, I want to remind everybody, when I recorded this video, I said it was midnight. I think I'm asleep.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped the video and said nothing.
Yeah, you're sleeping.
Yeah, I'm asleep. Just so you guys know.
Warehouses. We were all the clerks.
The camera even
need
zoomed
something,
in.
you came to us. You know. So I stuck needles in all these correctional officers' arms and drew their blood that day.
Yeah.
And then it went on to that. And then when I went to work wards, my job was to go and check guys for bed sores and treat them, change bandages, and in some cases,
Sponge baths. Don't leave out the sponge baths, player. He was
you were giving
sponge bathing, man.
You're the bird bath guy. Remember, you're the eagle, so you do bird baths.
actually give medications.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really have that many certified quality nurses that could do it. But I was a corpsman, so I knew what I was doing. So and I did that for roughly about 2.5 months before I got my transfer. And I was supposed to go to San Quentin.
Lived that.
But I ended up being transferred to Old Folks.
Watch.
San Quentin was close to intake.
Yeah.
And then that started my time in Folsom. And the very first thing is
quick question, Dubs. What's he got going on right here under his beard? Is that can he do a lobotomize? Can he lobotomize that extra neck he has right there?
It's taking him a minute to get into the story, but when he gets into it, Holmes, it's amazing.
I thought I wanted the turkey neck, not eagles.
Oh, that's a giblet?
That's a giblet. He has a
I forgot to. You said that's a giblet right there, fool.
They have this really famous picture of Folsom. It's the East Gate. It's got a gun tower.
Oh, listen to this.
Oh, here we
go.
I remember.
Come in. It's called East Gate. And when you drove through, you drive through on this little gray bus that just fit under there.
Yeah.
Kind of school bus type thing. Called the Gray Goose. And when you came in, you'd be in the little Sally Port and you got to hear those big iron gates slam behind you. Yeah. And there was a sign above the other gate that says, "This is the end of the world." So then you drive through that and you drive down and around, come back up, and you pull up on the main yard.
Yeah.
And whenever buses were coming, they would have no yard that day. And they would let you out right there at the R&R, the receiving and releasing unit.
Yeah.
And so you come out, you get in there, and then they had you line up, and then they bring out these things you used to call 103B cards, and they had every bit of information about your county.
I can't believe that I haven't stopped the video in a long time. I'm watching myself.
You're immersed into the video, bro. You're
well. I know what I'm doing is I'm doing it again right now. Davato has got his legs spread out, right, and he's trying to stick the heel of his fucking boot in his own butt crack. It looks like I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey, look at how close fucking Stewie's arm is to him. Little by little, little by little. You know, he wants to reach out and touch the giblet.
You know, oftentimes you had parents that tell you who your parents were and all this stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they would give that to an inmate clerk. Now the inmate clerks now know who you are, where you're from, and stuff. So they know who to tell that so and so's homeboy from the counties and all that stuff is there.
Right.
Well, I fell out of Fresno County.
Okay.
But I never claimed Fresno.
Oh shit!
I wasn't born in Fresno. I just fell out.
Good old Fresnick, brother.
And so we're out there, and kind of my very first introduction to this this kind of a prison.
You can tell he's making it up.
Yeah,
because there were incidents that happened in Vacaville.
Wow.
That's where I saw my first in-house prison killing was in Vacaville.
Right.
But in Folsom,
in
I'm
between
there
blood
less
draws.
than 45 minutes. We're standing outside.
Yeah.
And there's me, and there's this one guy who's very girled up, got long hair, got lipstick and nail polish, because he was trying to keep from.
He's very girled up.
Where do you get nail polish from?
Yeah, To what degree of nail polish do they have on Canteen? Is it grape Kool-Aid nail polish? Or?
Yeah.
So you could stay down back.
Watch this though.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of other guys after us. So we're all standing there, and right by there's a count gate called 5 Count.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're sitting there, this sergeant's walking back and forth, and he's saying, "I want to welcome you to Folsom State Prison."
Mm-hmm.
And at Folsom State Prison, we do things our way.
Mm-hmm.
Folsom State Prison was
Get to the story.
Built in the granite. This was a quarry.
I'm gonna probably fast forward a lot of this.
Thank you for waking up, Dubs.
I've been watching this for an hour.
Hey, that's Midnight Dubs, I'm telling you.
As he's talking to us, all of a sudden this count gate slams open, and there's a guard stands right there.
Listen.
But he's watching what's happening with us. All of a sudden this gate slams open. This little Mexican guy comes running out of this gate.
We always got to be little in everybody's story.
Just a couple steps behind him is this great big Mexican guy with this.
Oh, there's a big Mexican too.
Oh, hold on. He had a 14-inch knife. You missed that part. The little Mexican had a 14-inch knife. I think it was a little one. Let's go.
And the little guy turns his head 1 minute.
Whenever people have exact measurements in their story, I don't believe it. Maybe there was a stabbing that day. I doubt it was right. It was there where he was at, and I guarantee it wasn't a 14-inch blade, unless later somebody saw the paper. I don't know. 14-inch though.
14-inch knife is that long.
What's going on? He sees us.
In my experience,
if 12 inches and add 2 more inches, a 14-inch knife is fucking that big.
And in my experience in prison, if you get a piece of weapon stock that big, you're making 2 good pieces out of it.
2. You cut them in half.
What
immediately? 2 8-inch pieces?
a 7-inch piece.
2 7-inch pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, a 7-inch piece is gonna kill something. What the fuck are you going out there with a sword for? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
But you know, it's his story. What are we doing trying to be real about it?
Yeah. Turns for a minute and ends up slamming into a pole right there at the corner of the yard. So he didn't make the track. He hit the yard fencing.
Yeah.
And the big guy ran up and stabbed him about 7 times, threw the knife down before any of the gunners could lock and load. We got full armed gunners with, at that time, shotguns and mini 14s.
Yeah.
And they had mini 14s out because we were out there being interviewed. And the guy who was planning to be a girl suddenly faints and falls right out. And we're all standing there. And the sergeant with us,
it's fucking Stewie, homie.
So stop. The Stewie's getting real close. Look at Stewie's face right now. He got happy as soon as he said.
He's one of the Blooming group.
But here's my thing. Just because the guy is a transgender or wants to be a woman doesn't mean he faints and has the characteristics of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's doing.
Yeah, he did that. He went there. Yeah. But and then not only that, the little Mexican got scared. The little Mexican took off running, and there was a way to go. Yeah, there's a way to go, but he just could not miss the pole.
Yeah, he ran into the pole head first, knocked himself out.
Knocked himself out, and then died because he's stupid. Chingao, man, dumbass little Mexican.
Here we go.
He doesn't even, he looks over what's going on as other officers are responding.
Yeah.
But he doesn't leave us. But in the same point, he doesn't break sentence. He turns around and goes, and as you notice at Folsom State Prison, we have unscheduled extracurricular activities happening all the time. Okay, guys, let's go on inside R&R.
Wow.
So how did you no investigation, Dubs? No yard down? They didn't even got to go yard down?
They didn't have to put the yard down.
Damn, that was crazy. That is the end of the world right there.
It's the end of the fucking world.
No yard down.
Wait till you hear. Look, we're only 12 minutes in, homie. Watch.
This is almost as good as Wes Watson's stories.
Honestly, my first thought was to run towards the guy because I saw him
and help him.
And so, but when he says all this, we're suddenly pushed. I'm the first guy by the door, so I get in first.
Yeah.
So, moments later, they walk us over. We get our issue of blues. They stamp our name and number in them. Walk us over, and I go to one building, which the first tier and second tier were orientation. You had to go there for 2 weeks to see if you can make it to the yard. Was there any funny stuff? If you were, sex crimes or all that kind of weird stuff. So I'm there, and a few hours later, because they'd already got the word to the Fresno car that I was a Fresno boy.
Yeah.
And as you know, in prisons, cars like to build.
I'm really just like his story is gonna be what it's gonna be. I'm really stuck on the fact that Midnight Dubs is just tired as fuck. Eh?
Hey, you're just like this. Like I'm just trying to.
I don't think I was awake for this video.
Yeah, you were on some other shit. That's back when you had the fucking airliner headphones.
Yeah, no, those are the Astros. They're right there. Those are my gaming. Those motherfuckers are $300, $250, whatever. I don't know.
Those are the big bodies.
I should put them back on, huh? They look actually all right on me right there.
Those are the big bodies.
Let's go.
Let's see what Giblet Net's talking about.
Many people of their people.
Yeah.
And then it goes into bigger cars after that. But anyway, so I'm there and I'm walking around in my little cell, getting used to it. And I'm single cell because
watch this.
We didn't have that many people. All of a sudden I hear this guy go, "Hey, homeboy." I turn around, this big blonde-haired guy, long hair, beard, standing there, and he goes, "You're from Fresno, right?" And I already see that I don't want to know this guy to begin with. So I look at him, I go, "Konas to Tumakara, Jiogwishmashin, and Manaskimi, Aeronacte too, Shah." And the guy looks at me, kind of blinks like Jabba the Hutt a couple of times, turns and looks down the tier and goes, "Are you sure he's white? He doesn't even speak English." And then the guy walks away.
Yeah. So that's going to get back to the shot caller.
Well, it goes back to the shot callers and everybody else, and they're all like, because now they're checking the guy who gave them the information.
Right.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that type of thing. So 3 days go by, and basically,
they can't figure you out.
Well, nobody's come by for 3 days, right?
Yeah.
But there's a Portuguese guy up above me, and we're talking through the vent, and we're talking in English. Because I don't really speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
I speak a little Spanish, but not Portuguese.
Of course.
Well, guys hear me speaking English, so.
Man, that guy does some weird thing with his mouth. I don't know, but it's tripping me out.
Hey, you're stuck on fucking him sticking his tongue.
I finally woke up and said some stupid ass shit. Nigga,
hey, I don't know. He does some shit with his mouth. I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
But he does. Like, you can't see it here. He flicks his tongue out. All it's weird. Eh?
But,
was he trying to ride with the other car?
I don't even know. I'm gonna try to do this. This thing seems like it's gonna be long as hell.
Next thing I know, this really, really big guy shows up. The guy's like, 6'8", 300 some odd pounds, black hair,
this is a white gang member.
Big white guy. Yeah.
Is it Aryan Brotherhood?
Well, it's all part of the Aryan Brotherhood at that time. Because at Folsom at the time, you basically had only two factions of, quote, whites. You had the Aryan Brotherhood, and you had the bikers.
Yeah.
And some bikers did run with the Aryan Brotherhood, particularly if they were, weren't really from a real substantial club or something like that.
Yeah.
But we had Hell's Angels on the yard and stuff like that.
So they had their own clique separate from
I mean, they would sometimes align, but that was at their choosing, not the AB's choosing, basically.
Okay.
But
imagine that.
That seems odd. But
I really want to speak on that, but I don't speak on that stuff. But this dude is crazy. Like
at this point, I'm not claiming anything at all. I'm just there. Anyway, so the guy comes and I do the same thing, and he goes, No. I know you can speak English. So I look at him. I tell him, when it's as a courtesy. Yeah. I said, but English is not my first language. I said, Gaelic is my first language because Martha was from Ireland, and until I was almost 6, that was the first language I learned, and she called it mommy speak.
Yeah.
So we had a language of our own. But then looking like me, and at that time, I had brown hair with copper, auburnish coloring it, blue eyes.
Yeah.
In Arizona, speaking only Gaelic, kind of would front us off.
Yeah.
So I had to learn English.
Yeah.
So
front them off about what?
Yeah. Front them off about being from Ireland or what?
So anyway, he goes, well,
what's wrong with that?
He goes, well, what are you? And I
hey,
never
dude,
claimed
what the
white
fuck are you, brother?
In my life.
He said, I've never claimed white any time in my life. What the fuck?
You look pretty white to me, brother. You like coffee?
Yeah, brother. You got look. He got the what is it with the rebel flag on him? Come on now.
If anything, I claim Celt.
Yeah.
So I told him, well, I'm a Celt.
Yeah.
And he's like, the hell's a Celt?
Right.
Well, like the Irish, the Scots, and they go, oh, I'm part Irish. I said, wait, but you don't know what a Celt is, and you don't know Gaelic.
Yeah.
Oh no, man, it's really hard shit. I don't understand. I don't know.
So they're just talking like that.
In the beginning of the interview, he said he's English.
Huh?
So they're not going to let him talk to him like that and try to check him ever.
So it's now he's a Celt. He's Scottish or Irish. He said in the beginning of the video, if you guys watch this yourself, he says he has a little tiny bit of Irish in him. I mean, this is actually, hopefully you guys are going to make it through this because, you know, like I said, it was midnight when I started. It's after 12:10.
Well, you took a good nap, so you should be all right, Dubs.
Yeah. For me to listen to.
I took a power nap.
But I'm going to go a little bit longer and let's see what he's going to, what else he's going to, what other true crime he's going to talk about.
So he goes like, well, when you come out, you know, the guys want to talk to you.
Yeah, but they do.
Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah. And he's like, so you're from Fresno? I said, no. He goes, it says on the car. I said, I fell out of Fresno. I'm not from Fresno.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, where are you from? I said, I lived, 8 years in Fresno, 8 years in San Diego, and most of my life in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, but I've been told I was born on the Isle of Man.
Oh my God.
Which is why my background say Manx bread, because all my ink
Mm-hmm.
is pre-prison.
Yeah.
But some of my ink was done by guys who learned their trade in prison.
Right.
But they did it on the streets using prison-style weapons.
If all your ink is pre-prison, why do you have the rebel flag on you, but you say you're not white?
Yeah. I mean, that's not the rebel flag. It looks like it to me.
Is that the Celtic flag, or because that don't look like that?
It definitely ain't that.
Style guns.
Yeah.
That was cheaper to make than buying ones.
Yeah, well, that makes sense why they look so bad.
So you're at Folsom, in Brotherhood.
And then I laughed in the video.
Celtic? Who is this guy?
Yeah. So,
hey, why are their legs touching now?
I don't know. You know, look,
this
is a problem that I have with civilians, people that never lived that life. This guy's got a huge smile. He's a European, obviously. I've seen I believe he had Wes Watson on several times. But it's just so weird that people that have never been around the men that they're speaking of, they throw these
Spit it out, Dubs.
And smile like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where if they knew those men, they wouldn't say those names, and they damn sure wouldn't be saying it with a big smile on their face. They'd whisper it. They'd only whisper it to somebody that they trust. These aren't names and of the organizations and those men that are a part of them. Those aren't things that you just talk out loud about.
I get cleared to go to the yard.
Damn, Dubs, Debbie Downer.
Anything in my background.
Yeah.
I get out there and the yard's divided up. You've got this set of bleachers, steps and seats belong to the white area. This one here is the Mexican Mafia's area.
Yeah.
This here is the Black Guerrilla family area.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Bloods and Crips areas are over here.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the Paisas area, and then you got the others, and the others at that time encompassed all Asians, Native Americans, Pacific Islanders, and actually at that time, even Central and South Americans could fall under others if they wanted to.
Okay.
And so I go out.
How many people on the yard do you estimate?
Probably about at this time, there's probably about 250 to 300.
And how many whites?
Probably about maybe about 35.
Okay.
So I walk out and three guys come from the white group over to me, and they said, "Hey, this guy Wesley wants to talk to you."
Is that the shot caller?
He's one of the shot callers. He's
Watson?
not the shot caller. He's one of the lieutenant shot
Is it
callers.
Walmart?
So I go over, and they're on the weight pile, and so there's more whites on the weight pile.
Hey, here it comes. I should have just fast forwarded to this part because I swear to God, I feel like Midnight Dubs right now. This thing got me tired. I forgot how slow part one is. Part two, and then the rest of them I did, they pick up. But here we go. Right. Here the story goes.
We got to get into the story.
Yeah. For those of you that stuck around, I appreciate you.
And the weight, same thing. You got them divided up among different races. Whose weights are what? Nobody can share weights, this was a big thing for me in prison. Was that you weren't allowed to share things. You couldn't take food off of another race's plates.
Listen to this.
You know, all these little knick-knack things. Because on the streets, I was never racist, and I never had these issues, and I couldn't really understand. And then I always threw them for a tizzy when, like, they talk about food. Can't take food off a black man's plate. And I said, but a black man put the food on your plate. You know, and that was beyond their understanding. Like,
look at his
didn't
eyes.
tell anybody that.
I said he didn't tell nobody that.
They had to stab the dog shit out of him.
May have said that in his head, but I guarantee you, he wasn't getting smart with people like that. These are the things that I trip out on. This guy, whatever his name is, who the host of the show, I just can't remember.
Hey, I went from Stuart to whatever his name is.
Making me more tired by the lie. I mean, by the words.
Well, I'm getting grouchy in this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why they you know. I don't know why they promote this type of stuff.
Dubs, tell him.
You tell him, Dubs. Midnight
Everybody
Dubs.
has heard of and
glad you woke up.
When they get into this type of stuff, I would think this guy did some research and would know that amount of violence that the men that they're so frivolously speaking of committed. So how could anyone think this dude, a fish that's not affiliated with anything, is talking to people that type of way? You're not going to be a smart mouth without your mouth getting busted open. Not in prison, man. Then wholesome at that? Not back then. Not 1984.
They're not ready, Dubs.
Or usually if they run out of drugs, they'll go to the other races.
And that's why I was telling him. I said, wait a minute. Here, let me understand this. I can't take perfectly good food he hasn't touched off his plate, but you'll shoot drugs that came out of a black man's room.
You ain't saying that. Look at his mouth. He goes, You're not saying that, bro. You say something like that.
He said that. He said that. Like he went like that because he thought someone was gonna knock his teeth out. I'm saying flashback.
Not,
but what is Dubs gonna say?
He's remembering right now when he did say that and they knocked his teeth out. Let's see what Angry Dubs has to say.
Yeah.
Oh, Angry Dubs. Look at his face.
Does anybody believe that?
Angry Dubs.
So that's another set of,
that's what they said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're walking over in Wesley there, and Wesley's not driving iron. He's sitting there like he's in holding court.
Yeah.
And he's got like the biggest buffed up white guys around him.
He's got the Nazi tattoos and stuff.
And he's got the swastika, lightning bolts and swastikas, and he's like that. And he's just, So we understand you have an identity crisis. I told him, no, I don't have an identity crisis. I know exactly who the hell I am. I said, but some of these guys that are part Irish don't know what they are. And they're kind of looking at me and stuff. Because what a lot of people don't know is the Aryan Brotherhood had two different factions in it.
Yeah.
There was the Irish side and the German side.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
And before they were the Aryan Brotherhood.
I've never heard of that history.
Okay.
Was the original white gang was called Bluebirds.
Okay.
And so the old guys have a bluebird tattoo usually on their bicep or on their ankle.
Right.
And then true story on the bicep.
And, they had a guy named Bulldog who actually, when they were coming together as Aryan Brother, this guy Bulldog was the guy that became the leader of the Irish side, and this other guy became the German side. But
so were you in early enough to actually meet George?
Oh, I met Bulldog.
People who started the.
Oh yeah, I met Bulldog a couple of years later at another prison.
And did they tell you why they started it?
Well, it was started as originally as protect.
Wait up, Dubs, can we stop? So this is 84.
Exactly.
And they're barely coming together. They've been around since the 60s, early 60s.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, what is he talking? Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
He's full of shit.
I don't know if I'm not getting what he's saying. 1984. Okay, I'm just gonna say that 1984. He wasn't there for the founding of anything. But Mr. Sean Atwood, who keeps throwing these things out there, I highly doubt they're even going to let me put this video out. But I don't know, man. I just don't.
This is Angry Dubs, ladies and gentlemen. Angry Dubs.
I mean,
it's late at night for that Dub.
Honestly, I don't like him. I don't like
him.
If he was in prison.
Dubs don't even know we don't like him. Right?
I said honestly, I don't like him. What the fuck, Dubs? I didn't even use.
See, since then, Dubs, here's the thing. Since then, you've relaxed your stance just a little bit.
I have.
You know, that right there, you were real fucking politically correct. So anyone that even mentioned any of these organizations at all, you were like, it would anger you because you've been around people. Yeah. And guys like this that speak so frivolously, it's hard to like frivolousness. You know they're full of shit. Yeah.
Yes. It's just.
I mean, he just fucked the whole time.
Everybody knows. Look, in the 80s is when they were already playing that game where they would pick a faction and then would snatch them all up and put them in the oil for a while, and then let them back out and snatch a different faction. So they're playing games. I just don't like to talk about all that stuff, but he's a fucking idiot. Okay, my bad.
Prison. And he fell in 1983 and did all that time. He would have had, in my opinion, a completely different way of speaking. And I don't care if he's in Europe, because this is probably in Europe. I don't care if he's in Europe. You should still speak with respect. There's reasons why I'm not going to get into
protection thing, because whites tended to come in and immediately get victimized by blacks and Hispanics, because there were a lot more blacks and Hispanics in prisons.
Always the numbers of the most pick on the league.
Yeah. And particularly if you came out of the Southern California, LA County, blacks run that. And if you go in there, not a single white boy ever comes to prison with a pair of shoes from LA County.
Yeah.
They just automatically lose their shoes. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
But so.
What movie is that?
From Fresno.
I know some sorry.
I turned around. I said he's from Fresno,
and yet he knows who runs it
and how
it is true that you know, for many years, I've heard the stories. I'm not from LA, but I've done time with so many dudes from LA. Whites were. I'll put it like this: I knew white dudes that told me that when they were in LA County, that if they saw another white dude and he didn't have a black eye or his face wasn't busted up, then he knew he was a punk. Because dudes were like, man, I stayed marked up when I was in there because I stayed fighting because we had to. But listen to this guy.
Anyway, but so Wesley's telling me, he goes, so I said, well, look, I said, I don't really need anything. What do you mean you don't need anything? He goes, what about protection? I said, I do all right. He goes, no, you don't understand. I said, no, I do understand. I said, I do my little program. I said, nothing gets you guys. You guys do whatever the hell you guys have been doing.
Yeah.
I said, but I got 13 years to do, and I plan to go home to my wife and son.
So you're trying to be independent.
Yeah. And so he's like, what? And they're kind of confused. So he goes,
I don't buy it.
Who do I?
I don't believe in anything this dude has to say. They're kind of confused. They're not confused. You're talking about men that break men. Men that break men. I feel like this conversation, anyone were to ever react or respond the way this guy's saying he reacted and responded, at the least, it would have got punched in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
At the least.
I agree.
More than likely would have been worse.
Mm-hmm.
The hand that punched him would have had something in it. But like, I don't get that. Like, I don't know. This stuff is
and you know what?
Pause this, and this is the thing, Dubs, and let's see if you agree. One of the main things, and this is, like I said, I know Roach, I know Superwood, I know some woods. I've kicked it with. You know, coming from Merced County, there's woods there. One of the things that they hate the most is you denying your race.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll kill you for that. They'll call you a race traitor, a fucking whoop-de-whoop. That's the worst thing as a white man you can do is deny your race. That's what he's saying he's doing. He shouldn't even be here talking. He'd have been dead a long time ago.
Yeah. And you know what? I just remembered, you know, the next ones we do, because we're going to mix it up. We're going to react to this. We're going to go back to Delano for and then back, you know, we're going to, but one thing I just remembered, and you'll notice as we go through, right, is it seems in every video he talks down the Mexicans and the whites. Mexicans and whites he really has a distaste for. And you'll notice it. It's a trip.
we got to talk about this. So they kind of waved me off. So I go out and I start walking the yard.
Yeah, they were questioning him, and they were part of what he said they were part of, but they got to talk about it. So they told him, go ahead and walk while we discuss what we need to do. They ain't nobody time. I don't give a damn what decade it is. If you get called over, they know what they want to do. That's when you know these stories are bullshit.
Yeah.
And the thing about Folsom, it's
the
track.
Right.
One more thing
about this track.
Real quick. They're also not going to allow you to walk off so you can get some weaponry to prepare yourself. So they're going to have you stand right there. They're going to put a couple SBs on you, security blankets on you, ready. And if any, they're going to say, brother, any movement, take his head off, take his top off. And then maybe they might say, what do you want to do? Kill him. Boom. Done. They're going to nod, and that's it. There's not going to be no think that.
I think they talk before he even comes over. They're like, hey, if this dude says this, or this, we're downing him.
Butcher him.
Yep. Period. Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
They're not going to let him run to the program office.
The track was.
I'm done.
I'm done.
You guys want me to continue doing a review of this true
Midnight
crime?
Angry Dubs.
I'll try to come back. This dude's putting me to sleep. It really, this is, I don't know how long. I think this is 4 years old. This interview. Just the fact that he came on the show. You know, I do my videos in a slingshot, in a black tank top, right? But I'm here in my place. I would never go on to another show and dress how how they may think a convict would dress. I think that's what it is.
It's pretend.
More power to the dude. You know, good luck talking about stuff that you shouldn't be talking about. And I don't know. Anyways, man, that's the video. I can't even go any further with this. That's the video.
Hey, I'm tripping. Hold on. I'm telling you guys, that's the end of the video. Oh, it is. I think, right?
It is the end of the video.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the wrong one. I was looking at their line. Hey, Holmes, that shit is funny, homie.
Hey, here's the thing. That guy right there is telling Sean Atwater what he thinks he wants to hear. Okay. Yeah. He's making up stories. This guy went in there and he was a regular old wood brother from Fresno. Maybe moved from Arizona and has some Irish blood in him. Mm-hmm. And he went right in there, and guess what? He was one of the fellas. And maybe he felt this way, but he never voiced that. Never.
Well, here's another thing that I never talked about, and OGs can correct me. He says he fell in 83. Mm-hmm. He says in 84, he's in Old Folsom, right? Now, I know there used to be a rule. I just don't know what year it changed. You had to be 33 and up to hit Old Folsom. The youngsters went to San Quentin. That's why there was more stabbings in San Quentin. But when they hit you in in Folsom, you were done. And all the heavyweights were in Folsom.
Yeah.
They weren't both, but like older.
And DVI.
So,
DVI, a lot of youngsters.
Yeah. Yeah. So they had a rule. I know for a fact they had a rule, and I think it was 33, but I don't know what year they changed it. But I feel like in 84 that rule was still in effect. I could be wrong.
I feel like this guy never went to Folsom. I feel like this guy stood the whole time in Vacaville. Yeah. I think what happened. Here's the real story. I think he got to reception in Vacaville. He did his reception time. Then he went to the main line, became some fucking medical whatever assistant, and he heard stories about Folsom, and he's just telling stories, and he's putting himself in the story.
I think what happened, I agree with that. I think he became a gynecologist in a man's prison. And
that's what I believe. I believe that too.
Yeah. We agree on that.
Yeah, I believe that.
But I want to tell you guys right now, the next parts that we do on this cat are hilarious, right? This one, it was just,
I said, make sure you stick around.
Absolutely. Stick around. Those of you that watch this, I appreciate you. They're going to get better. This dude is a trip. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Gunner, got anything to say?
I can't wait for the next one because this dude was dry, but I actually enjoyed it. I enjoy not picking through people's bullshit, but I enjoy listening to a man make a fool out of himself. It's just fun. Something about it is funny to me.
It's weird that there's
build them up from down, you know.
It's weird that there are people in this genre that believe like, hey, I can go and tell stories that make no sense and fool people. And unfortunately, you know, I see a common thread. This dude got a book, he got a bunch of other stuff, and then Wes Watson. There's a
well, here's also a thing. Prior to the prison genre exploding a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, in YouTube, there wasn't too many real ex-convicts doing this that have been there, that understand, that have been to the yards that we've been to. So he can get away with this. There's a lot of people that they were intrigued by it, but now that you have real ex-convicts that have really done time and will tell you exactly the way it is, their stories are getting exposed. These guys.
Yes. All right, you guys. Everybody, please be safe. Be smart. Hold up. Let me get the mouse so I can get out of here. Everybody, please be safe. Be smart. And tell the ones you love that you love them, right? We're out of here.